All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the endocrine system, your hormones, the basics on how to keto adapt, the thyroid, and the adrenals right now. What's up, everyone? What's up? Hi, Kevin. What's up? He's in the house. Okay, everybody's coming into the chat. People on the replay, chill. I'm going to go deep dive into the basics of keto. Now, I'm going to sort of make it a sort of a two-section part because I'm going to explain briefly the ketogenic diet, which people seem to have forgotten that because of all the garbage that's on the internet. And then I want to talk about the endocrine system and the thyroid. But I will do a separate video or live stream on the thyroid because I've been doing the deep dive. And as you can see here, the anatomy of the face, which really doesn't have anything to do with anything except for when I start going into the autonomic nervous system. What's up, Marcus? What's up, everyone? Okay, so people forget that, and I used to make videos about this all the time. To keto adapt, you have to eat high fat. This high protein concept is not putting people into ketosis. I know this because I work with people. People who tell you that you can eat high protein are full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about because they're just using their own personal, evaluation of the situation, which tends to be very, very subjective because people tend to wish like a genie in a bottle for what they want, and it doesn't work that way. And so you have to eat. Thanks for doing what you do and helping so many with real keto. Thank you. So, Fernando. So the idea is you have to eat 200 grams of fat. And people are so still afraid of saturated fat, cholesterol, and eating high fat that inadvertently subconsciously, they just keep going down in their numbers of fat and high in protein because you can watch video after one meal a day, after intermittent fasting and coffee and all this junk on keto and watch the evolution. If you guys go back, way back when people were talking about it like 8-9 years ago, and watch how the trend of what people are telling you to eat, it's just, people have made it like food porn times a million. And there's no such thing as keto anymore. It's just like a joke. It's like a joke right now because people are eating high protein. They're eating nuts and cheese, and people think you can drink wine and alcohol and refeed and targeted and cyclic ketogenic diet, and none of this is true. So I want to clear up the madness a bit, and I've explained these details before for those who've seen me in the past, who have followed me for a long time. And then I'm going to go right into the endocrine system because that's what I really want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the basics of keto, but I will. At least how to start. So there's a couple things that you need. You need to have animal fat and not coconut oil or MCT oil as your main fats. Things like olive oil and avocado oil are monounsaturated fats largely and can contribute to a very low amount of adapting. But the main fats that help you adapt are animal fats. Don't even bother with monounsaturated fats anymore. They're doing Atkins, but they think it's cute. Exactly, Miss Mom. That's a very great point. The word Atkins is synonymous for something that's dated and old and, it's just outdated. But it really is Atkins because Dr. Atkins was just on the verge of understanding ketones, and then he slipped and fell and hit his head and got a hematoma and died. He didn't die from heart disease, contrary to what people want to believe. And he had people eating high amounts of meat, and he was just starting to get people to eat high fat, and then the jig was up. So you just had this discussion today. All right, awesome. So essentially, you need high fat. It's the most important macronutrient, which is macro means your fats, your carbs, and your proteins. But people don't understand you can't have high protein because that protein, and I've tested this with so many people, that protein instantly spikes your glucose. It just does. And the problem is that there's a couple problems that you guys have. Number one, you don't have developed muscles. A lot of you, most of you, right? Lean muscle, lean mass. You're not coming from a healthy world of low or sensitive insulin. So if you are insulin sensitive, you've got good muscularity, yes, perhaps your protein can be a little bit higher than the person who doesn't have high blood pressure and high blood sugar and insulin resistance and poor sleep and, blood sugar that's unstable or hypoglycemia. But most people aren't in this sort of health because the health that I'm at 52, is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. People have this concept that it's easy because it's my genetics. At 52, this is no longer genetics at all. This is epigenetics, and it's what I've done with my genes to keep myself lean, right? And have my hormones in balance and things of this nature. Thyroid, adrenal, and reproductive. So, of course, you guys know I'm the 200 fat or higher person. People try to scrimp that. Those who have problems with their gallbladder will probably instantly find out that they cannot do a lot of fat. I'm not talking about the people with the APOE4 gene. I'm not talking about these people, and even that's just a theory. I'm literally talking about people eating fat and feeling horrible eating fat, or eating fatty meats, or eating red meats, and they can't do it. Number one, you typically have too low stomach acid, which makes, the peptides and protease, and all of these digestive enzymes that help you break down these macros, it's low with the hydrochloric acid. A lot of you guys have hypochlorhydria, which does not allow you to digest certain foods very well. So you eat these meats and you eat these fatty meats and you don't feel well. And so you think like, oh, I don't like, meat. I don't like beef. I only like chicken, or I only like fish. And you're losing your ability to digest, and you're allowing pathogens and bacteria to grow out of control because your stomach acids are downregulated. So your stomach acids are downregulated, and then you subconsciously, inadvertently start leaning towards more leaner meats and olive oil as your fat. You can't adapt. Now, with that said, if you don't believe me, go get a glucometer. That'll show you the truth. Okay, contrary to, I said the contrary 4 times, to all this stuff that people say on the internet, which is absolute nonsense, like, just don't listen to it. Go with what makes sense, because nothing's easy. Nothing. Life must be difficult so you can find your way. If things were easy, then I don't know what kind of world we'd live in. It would be very, very bizarre. But hard work comes with reward. Cheating your way through something comes with a bunch of lies and foolery that people are telling you on the internet. So, so essentially you need now because of the carnivore movement, I've really lowered the amount of recommended vegetables because so many of you guys have a compromised gut wall. Leaky gut, you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, your body's starting to respond and having histamine respond to certain foods, especially plant source foods, and so those go down. So you have to think about, well, if I have leaky gut, then I have to, consider the type of plants that I'm eating. Of course, ketogenic plants are cruciferous vegetables, which is broccoli and the very fibrous green type of vegetables, broccoli, and, cauliflower is white, but cauliflower, cabbage, asparagus, which is a grain, supposedly. The greens, which you have to be careful with the oxalates. So you've got this like low carbohydrate and fibrous plant. And then you have your meats, which are the fattier cuts. So no, tuna is not a ketogenic meat, nor is the chicken breast. And, everybody trying to do white fish and things that have less fat on them. You have to go for the beef. The fatty cuts of pork jowl and belly and these types. Thank you, Craig. Craig, you're so sweet to me, I swear. Sup, Steph? He says, sup, Steph, gotta go. I have a client coming in, but we'll check out the replay. See ya, Steph. So Greg is a very loyal person who I've done a couple of consultations with, actually more than a couple, but he's very, very supportive. And also he's on my keto course page, which is Stephanie. Okay. You sign up for it through stephanieperson.com if you want to write that, the Greek god. Oh, it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can see it here in all of this. It's a little small, but you can go to stephanieperson.com. It's a subscription membership course. Now, with that said, oh, I also have an Instagram because I forget to say this stuff, which is, where is it? Up here?
Yeah.
Stephanie, that's my Facebook, Stephanie the Business Person, and up there is Stephanie Ketogenic for my Instagram. All right. So, and I also do consultations, you guys. And it's the reason why I can't wait to get to the autonomic nervous system part is because I've just learned so much from the clients that I speak to on a daily basis. Like they give me their background and then I research the crap out of it and then we start working together and then I learn. That's how it goes. So, what's up, Rick? Now, so the macros are over 200, 2 to 350. Depends on how big of a person you are. As far as like if you're a guy, you're over 6 feet, you're active, you're not going to eat 200 grams of fat. That's not going to help you adapt. And you don't have to worry about getting fat because I've explained this before, that if your blood sugar is low, like in a ketogenic range, which is 69 to about 80, 82 max, right? If you're pushing it up at 83, but if you're healthy at 83, it could go up to 83 and have a lean body mass. And that's the glucose, like the sweet spot's like 77, 79, but your ketones have to be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. And then on top of that, you have to have a lot of energy. And it has to be consistent and sleep well. And your inflammatory marker should be low. And that's the only way you're going to adapt. You can't have high blood sugar and good ketones because the body's going to always lean towards the glucose, the blood sugar. Okay, it'll use a little bit of ketones, but you're not going to be ketotic, contrary to all the noise on the internet. You guys are quiet today. And Kim says, thank you for telling the truth. You guys can ask questions at any, well, maybe it's nice that you guys are not asking questions while I'm talking. Okay, so the diet part of a ketogenic protocol is so easy. It's stupid easy. Low carb, high fat would be under 100 carbs. You guys know I've mentioned white rice. If you have a cross reactivity issue with grains and you can't deal with white rice, then you have to find other ways like more starchy vegetables like yucca and maybe some, because all these plants have anti-nutrients in them. So things like carrots or sweet potato, if you don't react to the oxalates and things of this nature or nightshades. So low carb, high fat would be under 100 carbs, and your fat would be between maybe 120 to 150, because you still have to eat fat with doing low carb, or you're going to compromise your adrenals and your thyroid, which is what I'm going to talk about next. Hi, Heather. So carnivore is, people say that they're mostly carnivore. Greek god is sounding a little coffee. Must be his coffee drinking.
No, I've been sick the last week, and this is my residual cough.
Oh, that's his residual cough. If he did keto, he wouldn't have any residual cough, but we know. Okay, so we are live, and this is what happens when you're live. So with low carb, high fat, you would most of your fats would be split up between the fats and the starches. So you'd eat starch. I like white rice because there's no arsenic in the hull. The hull's been the bleaching of the rice, the anti-nutrients and the arsenic has been eliminated, mostly. Now, when it comes to carnivore, people say, I'm carnivore, and I find out they're having like oregano and they're having all of these spices and they're doing garlic and they're eating vegetable, they're eating like, meat, fat, and avocado. That's not carnivore. Okay, you can say you're leaning towards the carnivore side of eating mostly meat, but you're still keto. And people have to understand that, to understand the differences between the three dietary measures. now cauliflower tears my stomach apart. Something horrible while in keto. What can I do to help that? So, Miss Mom, that sounds like leaky gut, and you've created a hardcore sensitivity to it. So you're going to have to not eat it, and you're going to have to do more experimentation to find out what other foods are causing a similar response, because I'm sure it's more than keto. But I would have to know more about that. Now, I want to go into, now keto is not just like the diet, it's also like, you know, if you're following a circadian rhythm, going to bed before 10 p.m., if you're not a second shift or third shift night worker, I'm not speaking to the night shift people. Also for, we're quiet because we're taking it all in. I know this is like the sweetest, not Swedish, which jag pratar svenska, I speak Swedish, but I meant the sweetest group I've ever had. Not used to this. The thing is that the body is, people say, oh, you know, you have to have glucose, you need it for the red blood cells. Hi, Stephanie, is it safe to have 200 to 207 grams of fat when I have net carbs? Yeah, sure, it's safe, but your carbs are too high. If you're going to have 230 to 270 grams of fat, split them up. Eat the fat on its own, like in a fatty tea or in a meat broth. Yeah, I said meat broth and not bone broth. A meat broth, and then have your starches with as very little fat, as like maybe a tablespoon, which is 15 grams. When I increase my fat, I feel like heartburn. Yeah, so that means you probably have hypochlorhydria, and I'll go into that a little bit later, Melissa. So these are the questions that people are asking are really relative to the subject of how to start the basics, because, you know, when Mila says, you know, is it safe to have 270 grams of fat? Of course it's safe. You know, if you don't have a gallbladder issue, it's not a problem whatsoever. And don't do a bunch of coconut oil, because that's not ketogenic, nor is MCT oil, and nor is the olive oil and the avocado oil. It's really about the meat fats, the long chain fatty acids. And so even though butter has a little bit of MCT in it, and so like I said, if you had a breakfast, if you had, let's say, eggs, or, you know, have like 3 ounces of salmon, this is for a woman, not a man, because men should have between 60 and 95 grams of protein, depending on your size, your lean mass, your activity. It's not one number for everybody. Eatany? There's a I eat in my name. No why. I'm kidding. Sorry. Hi, Stephanie. But me, when I increase my fat, I feel like vomiting. So etany, sounds like your gallbladder. So these are the things you have to consider when you're doing the basics of keto. A lot of people have gallbladder sludge, stones, or problems with their gut wall, or too low stomach acid. And so when all those things, those digestive systems are not working, when you eat high fat and feel nauseated, it's classically your gallbladder. It doesn't mean that you form stones. You could have stones, or you can have sludge. So the gallbladder holds salts from the liver makes the bile salts, the gallbladder stores it and holds it, and then it's released when you eat fat to break it down into small molecules so it can get into the bloodstream, so you can be ketotic and got that energy. But a lot of you guys do things like you're estrogen dominant. That's a problem for the gallbladder. Sitting, because sitting creates a lot of problems with the upper circulation of the biliary system, where the liver, kidney, and gallbladder. Stephanie, just curious, is bloating with butter would be dairy, 100%. So these are things, the questions that people are asking are very, very true to how you start keto. So if you're bloating, like Gail is saying, you got to cut out that butter. You can try ghee. If you're still bloating, you just got to cut it out and deal with lard or tallow. For the person who said, I feel like vomiting every time I eat high fat, this is what other channels don't talk about, because it doesn't give you the numbers and the views, and, you know, it's not sexy to talk about, hey, I feel like vomiting when I eat high fat, and therefore, hey, just eat high protein. You can't lose weight anyway. Lord have mercy, child.
Excuse me for a moment. I'm outside to
hack your lungs out?
Take my lungs out.
Okay. Bye, Greek God. Okay, so if you have nausea, if you have a reaction, if you get bloated, if you get itchy skin, rashes, get really, really tired, you might have a sensitivity. So the big trigger foods are cheese. Yeah, because of the casein in the cheese. It's a growth factor to take a little baby calf and grow it into a big bull, and so there's a cross reactivity with that. That's connected to wheat and all this stuff. They need to join. Oh, yeah, I know, Melissa. People need to join the Facebook group. It's $15 a month. I mean, you're not going to find a course cheaper than that. And today I put up 4 pages that I wrote as a course lesson. And people just for some reason are like, you can do 1 month or you can do multiple months. It's up to you. Now, how many times a day do you eat on keto carnivore? So I am no longer doing keto carnivore. I did it for almost a year now. I have been eating carnivore like probably ever since I said I'm not carnivore. I'm still doing it. But on occasion, maybe twice a month, I might have an avocado. But I'm not calling myself carnivore because I had an avocado. But I'm leaning on carnivore. And I'm eating, the way I eat is very different from you guys. This is based on my lean mass, right? It's based on my body fat percentage, my muscularity, my activity level, because I've got good GLUT4 receptors. That means I've got receptors. Those are like little catcher's mitts or hands that can pull whatever glucose into the bloodstream to be utilized as energy instead of, just plummeting down my ketone value. That's what happens. That's what too much glucose in the system does. So when you're starting keto, that's something you have to be aware of. That'd be amazing. The course, unfortunately, every penny counts when you're a single parent of 3. Aww. Gail, you could do it for a month. So it's just 15 little dollar bills. Donna's like, the course is fantastic. I love the daily learning. So thank you, Donna. So there's a couple people in this course. Of course, I didn't tell them to come in. They just did. And they're telling you guys to give it a thought. And Jason says hello. Hi, Jason. And you're back on keto. Yay. And so these are the basics that I'm explaining to you. Now, when it comes to your workouts, I'll continue to do more videos and more live streams about that you can't just go like, bullocks to the wall, hardcore powerlifting, CrossFit, HIIT training, endurance training, because there's your blood. Thank you, Jason. It's just a small amount of monk fruit extract, okay? No. And when people ask me about these foods, I really feel like they still need like that taste of that carby, sugary world. And to really keto adapt, you should just get rid of it. Even if you could clear it out, Jason, because I don't know your background. Even if you could, because like try the monk fruit, go get a glucometer, try that monk fruit out and watch your blood sugar spike and watch your ketones plummet. And I wouldn't say for people to do this if I didn't notice this happening with people. I'd be like, oh my God, eat the cheese and eat the nuts and drink the coffee and do 1 meal a day and have some monk fruit and some xylitol and some maltitol and, But unfortunately, people are not adapting. That's problematic. That light? Yes. It's this one. Yes. I don't like it. It's like putting no.
1 second.
Okay. Because look, every time I stand back, I get this orange spot right there. Oh. And that's where, yeah. So, it's really not that important, but whatever. Okay. I will turn it up. Stevia is far better to me. Now, yes, stevia is better now. Stevia has oxalates, so you just got to be careful with how much stevia you use. I'm not going to say don't use stevia, but I really would prefer that when people try a ketogenic protocol, that they try to just go clean and just eat the clean meats, the clean vegetables if they're doing keto omnivore, which is plants. If you're doing keto carnivore, stevia is out. Good night. Yay! He did it remotely. Fabulous. Okay. I know. Okay. So you have to consider keto food. So the electrolytes are another component. So it's your macros. You're getting your stress down, your adrenals, and your thyroid. I'm going to talk about that next. And getting your electrolytes in. So sodium, potassium, magnesium. Stop with these potassium supplements. You don't need them. They're really hard on the liver. I don't like multivitamins. I don't like vitamin D supplements because all of these things really make it difficult on a liver that has to make the ketones, on a liver that's junked up with estrogen, men too. And so let's use things like organ meats as your freaking multivitamin, especially liver. So obviously real food is always going to be better than a supplement, but there you go. Ancestral organs, they're the best, or else I wouldn't have worked with them. You guys know I don't work with nobody. And my Greek guy is telling me that you need to monetize your videos because I just forget to do it. That's why you guys don't see ads on my videos. I just forget to do it. He's like, girl, that's just, you're not making money. So you guys see, I'm not like money driven. If I was, I'd be sponsored by, you know, diet supplements and BHB salts and keto coffees and elixirs and junk like you see everybody else doing. I won't do it. Now, let's go into our first little slide there. Now, I know you guys can't see, it's very small. There. Okay, my hand won't go ahead. There. But this is your autonomic nervous system. These are all the organs that are working without you. You can't stop them. Your heart beating, your digestion. Like, it's just going to do what it wants to do. The problem is, get some water here because I always forget to drink water. There are things that you can do. It's too far away. There are things right here. There are things that we need to do. You're welcome, Jason. Thank you. There are things that we need to do to kind of help that autonomic nervous system, the central nervous system, to function properly, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect your hormones. So a big reason why people don't adapt is because their blood sugar is just too high. They just can't freaking get their blood sugar stable. And typically the main problems when you're trying to keto adapt is not getting enough sleep, not getting enough deep sleep, and of course the macros being wrong, but that has nothing to do with the autonomic nervous system. But the sleep does. And the timing of when you eat your food is critical. So that circadian rhythm is also connected to the autonomic nervous system. Because when you eat at night, the body it can't do 5 things at once. It just chooses the most important and it goes with that. And one of the most important things to do is to rest. So you guys, I think when you're digesting, it takes like 70% of all the body's energy to freaking digest food. Is really hard on the body, which is why people talk about intermittent fasting or eating 1 meal a day, because you're giving your body a break, right? But the problem with doing that is that you guys don't take breaks. You go and you hit train and you do fasted cardio and you go around into your jobs and pay bills and do all these activities with a broken autonomic nervous system, in the sense of your central nervous system's broken, your adrenal system is broken, and then you do these crazy 1 meal a day things, and you have a rebound of a negative effect of so your stomach's not digesting, but your adrenal system starts failing. Also, your hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis gets wonky. So ironically, eating food sets your adrenals in the right rhythm if you're eating that food at the right time. Why would someone with thumbs down, someone giving a free great advice? It's just the way it is. You know, people may not like the color blue, or that I'm in a sports bra, or that I'm saying stuff that they don't want to hear, which is like, don't eat, cheese and stuff like that. It's stuff like that. Or like, some people be like, oh my God, who does she think she is? And I don't think I'm anybody. I don't. The only person that matters to me is me taking care of myself, as far as opinions go. Thank you, spine doctor. Are you a spine doctor? That's cool. So there are things that you guys can do. Hi, I see Siren. Hi, nice to see you here. Now, Michelle, everybody's different. So people want to know, like, when you start keto, like, when do you eat? Like, how many hours? Where no one's the same. if you have chronic hypoglycemia, which a lot of you do, you need to consider. Okay, here's the thing. If your body does not know how to regulate its energy, then the timing of your food is so important. You can't do one meal a day. If you have any low energy, you just can't. You have to figure out why your energy is low. Are you B12 deficient? Do you have leaky gut? Do you have hypoglycemia? Did you not sleep well? You know, are you insulin resistant? You have to know these things. And so, let me see, did I hear you say that you shouldn't eat nuts? Yeah, no nuts, because they're super, you guys, I've said this before, and I'll get back to the autonomic nervous system. For those on the replay, don't stress out. Nuts are baby plants, so they're really smart nature. Plants are smart. You chew on nuts, they get down to your stomach. You know, you think, well, I've chewed it and it's been digested and, you know, in this like bath of acid. So by the time it hits my small intestine and I poop things out, you know, it's good. No, it's not good, because nuts are not very digestible. So you're pooping them out onto the ground. That's nature. Mother Nature doesn't understand toilets. Okay, that's a modern thing. You're pooping things out onto the ground and it starts to grow. Now the problem is that once that nut hits your small intestine, it starts to do what nature's telling it to do, which is to soak up all the minerals so it can start to grow once you poop. So it demineralizes your body. And a lot of plants do this. This is why vegans are so naive. And I get it, you know, every time I eat meat, I'm so grateful to the animals that I'm able to, so in my leisure, go and just to the supermarket and go and eat it. I don't have to hunt it, which is so many things us modern humans are just, like, everything's just wrong. Let's see. I used to use almond meal. Yeah, horrible. So it's got phytic acid in it. That's what demineralizes your body. Almond meal, was it bad? She got restless leg and painful ankles, stopped eating it, and both issues have gone away. So that's a really good answer to the person asking about, it's the same thing, Jaden. Seeds are the same. They're baby plants. Baby plant, nut seeds. They're saying hello to you.
Yes.
I got a sound guy, big baller.
So I changed her batteries. Now she works again.
Okay. You know what he said? Audio dropped as testosterone spiked. Okay. Okay. So the batteries died, you guys. And it happens. Okay. So when it comes to, yes, I'm back. So when it comes to this autonomic nervous system, even eating something like nuts, if your gut wall is compromised, which pretty much all of our guts are pretty weak, the intestinal wall, and you're eating nuts, and they've already got this phytic acid in it, people are reacting to the nuts. So there's like, the body puts like a stamp on it and goes, this is an invader. So your body reacts. That's when this woman was saying she had the restless leg syndrome and all this stuff. Huh? Somebody delete a message?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good. Oh, I missed it.
Because he said "but" in an ugly way. But anyway, not bad, but we shouldn't have.
Okay. Yeah, buttons. He's just trying to keep this, we're trying to keep this channel, because YouTube, you guys, have gotten so strict now. So,
Kids and all.
yeah, like you've got to push like buttons that say like kid friendly or not. So if he's deleting a comment, it's not like, oh, it's like he hated the comment. It's just like, because he's got a really great sense of humor.
No, it was actually very fun, but I couldn't put it on the.
Oh, he was saying that he liked the comment. It was a funny comment. It just doesn't, for the whole YouTube nonsense. Jason writes, got your keto cookbook. Do you have a new one? Yes, I do. You guys, it's hard because I just got my Greek guy, my bestie, who's starting to help me. We were talking about strategies to just get more, you guys, I spent 2 days writing the course lesson for my keto course. So 2 days of writing out and researching and I've been researching for weeks, the thyroid. By the time I sit and go, like, I need to publish my book and recipes, I just don't have time to do it. So I'm trying to get more time in. I got the censored stuff. I know I ended up deleting all my videos to be safe. See? Buttons and rubbish. It's just, yeah, so I'm just trying to learn how it works, this whole thing with what you can say and not say. Yes, I did Carnivore for almost a year, and it was awesome. Okay, I'll get back to that. So when it comes to what you do around the autonomic nervous system, you're running into issues with your channel for providing helpful information. That's natural. Yes. Warm with liver. Huh? Oh, she's answering somebody. Okay.
About seeking Christ, truth in Christ.
Okay.
The guy or girl. There is a guy or girl that his name is seeking truth in Christ. So she's asking.
I got you. People on the replay about to have a heart attack. Okay. Yes, Mr. Q. I thought of teaching people this years ago, but when you're one person, it's hard to do it. It's just hard to do. I'm doing like 20 things at once. Now, the things around the autonomic nervous system is sleep. So you want to get down to the 5th level of sleep. This is when you make your ketones for the keto basics. This is when you make them. If you are not sleeping well, you can't make the ketones. Your insulin and your blood sugar gets very weird at night. This is why people wake up with the people call it the early morning dawns phenomenon or dawn's effect, because they think that cortisol is waking you up. But let's keep it real. A lot of people's blood sugar is too high on keto. Now, for the early morning dawns phenomenon, people with good GLUT4 receptor development in their muscles who are active, who are healthy, and your blood sugar is higher than normal, that's fine. But people not eating carbs, having high blood sugar, that is not the early morning dawns phenomenon in the context of I'm waking up with cortisol. This is my blood sugar's been unstable the whole night I was asleep. You're not really asleep. So right here, oops, darn it, right there are all of the systems that you can't control. So what you eat, how slow you eat, what time you eat, how much timing is critical when you start keto adapting. And that's connected to the autonomic nervous system, because if you have low stomach acid and you're not digesting foods very well, you got to chew that food so slow so your body's equipped to digesting it better. Now, of course, blue light and 5G networks and all of this, it is affecting your sleep, but it is not the main thing. It is not EMF toxicity or poisoning disrupting people's sleep. It's the whole ball of wax. It's the whole lifestyle. We sit wrong. We drink crappy water. We drink from plastic bottles. We eat non-organic foods. We intermittent fast. Everything's in a package. If you did all of that, your body can deal with the methylating and detoxing from EMF poisoning. But because you're so overloaded, that's just one more thing on the pile. No, you don't need D3 or K2 drops. I don't like these things. Go get a vitamin D3 lamp, invest in one, go get outside, fix your gut wall, and eat D-rich foods. And you can get K2 from liver, period. These are things, all of these questions, people on the replay, have something to do with when you first keto adapt. So let's go to the next slide, because I think we're going to run out of time and I'll have to two-part this. So I really want to go next week into the thyroid. So here's the thyroid. I think it was Vegan Deterioration. She did a video on Freely, the banana girl, that her thyroid was showing. So as you can see, that's where the thyroid is. But you could really see the shape of her thyroid right there. So that means it's enlarged. Her body's probably needing more iodine. You guys cannot take, if you have a thyroid problem, you cannot take iodine without selenium. And that's why supplements are very scary. You know, people aren't telling you to be careful with the selenium, and then people are taking selenium supplements. They're not eating selenium-rich foods, or then they'll go for the Brazil nuts, which are baby plants. So yes, you have to take the time to do everything correctly. And vegan gives, Freely gives vegans a bad name. Freely gives herself a bad name. You know, she just gives herself a bad name. Oh, the thyroid. Yes, so the thyroid, this is very interesting. I'm going to go into this next week. This is so interesting. Or I will go into, maybe I'll just do a video on it instead of doing a live. But the thyroid it's like, okay, your thyroid is controlled by the midbrain, which is the hypothalamus pituitary, especially the anterior pituitary. So you're releasing thyroid releasing hormone, and the pituitary turns it in and tells a signal to the thyroid to make thyroid stimulating hormone. When that number is too high, it's swimming around in the blood with nowhere to go. And that's when people are thinking, uh-oh, you might have Hashis or you might have hyperthyroidism. A lot of these thyroid tests are inconclusive because you have to take several of them. You know, these tests can be very subjective, so do never just rely on the test. Do consistent testing. It's the same thing with your sex hormones, which is another subject. But when people don't understand, the system of your thyroid works very similarly to the pancreas and also to the whole cholesterol thing. You need a transportation system to drive something into the cell. Now, the pancreas, you need insulin to drive glucose and amino acids into the muscle cells. With your thyroid, you need thyroid globulating proteins. And these proteins are like taxi cabs. The same thing with cholesterol, which is a low density lipoprotein that's going to carry cholesterol to a cell to fix it. We need cholesterol, or else we would be 10 feet under. So the problem with the thyroid is that people don't understand the testing. They don't understand what's happening. Your body can make thyroid hormone. And what I realize is that it's in percentages, right? It's 60, 20, and 20. 20% of the thyroid is made in this conversion of the inactive form of T4 that holds the thyroid hormone, has to be converted into T3, and then it goes into the bloodstream. It has to get on a taxi cab and then drive it to a cell. Now the cell has to be open to let it in, right? If the cell's not letting it in, the doctors will test your thyroid hormone. It's completely normal, but you have all the symptoms because that hormone is not getting into the cell. So for C-Siren, Janine, there's something going on with your thyroid, I believe. So yes, Wanda, you should send it for consultation. Yes, all devices could be turned off in place. Yes, they can. Yeah, I mean, yes, the doctor's spine. Yes. But to me, that's not the main problem. I mean, we've got to get people off of junk food, the spine doctor, okay, and get to sleep first. Like, that's the most important thing. You know, people are looking at their devices in bed. So at least can we get them away from bed? Can you put your iPad away from the bed, turned off with no blue light exposure, so you can start, you know, allowing the brain to shut down? Like, I'm going to start there. I'm not going to go too deep into EMF poisoning, because not everybody's going to go and turn off and unplug and, you know, turn off their Wi-Fi at night. People got their phones in their bed, right?
Yeah, only phone.
Tablets,
Everything.
computer.
And some people, some idiots, my opinion, they're putting in the bedrooms TVs.
Yeah,
So
TVs.
before
That's
they go
very
to sleep,
American.
in order to go to sleep, they watch a serial or something. That puts them out of sleep.
Yeah, the problem that you guys don't understand is that the brain, the ears are always, first of all, the light, that flashing light from the screen, goes right through your eyelids. So you're not connecting to the circadian rhythm, and your brain is always listening. So you have to be careful. Take care of pituitary and pineal with morning and PM sunlight. So here's the thing with the circadian rhythm. You can't get away from it. There's no such thing as a night owl. When the sun goes down, you go down. Your endocrine system won't go contrary to it. If you start staying up late, then the body still thinks it's daytime, and then you have cortisol, which should be highest in the morning. It just keeps pumping all day, and that's when people start to have adrenal issues. And so I think I need to go more into this in another stream. I'm going to answer some of you guys' questions because we're running out of time. Does the keto diet expose kidney issues? I don't know what you mean by that, but it can help with kidney issues, because keto, the real keto, is about eating moderate to low protein. And all that stuff on the internet is high protein, which is Atkins, which is not ketogenic. You can't produce ketones. You're not going to adapt, and you're not going to get lean and heal your organs and heal your systems. And I posted on my Instagram this because I've had knee surgery. I don't like to post stuff like this, but it's clickbait-ish, right? You guys see that? If you go to my Instagram, you can see that up close. So my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic, and see how I fix this broken body by smart practices. Yeah? So Stephanie Ketogenic, and that's right up here. My phone is huge. My hands are small now. Actually, I have very muscular hands from lifting 6 days a week, actually. Let's see here. Yes, true. I was sharing with another chatter. Is organ meats almost every day? Yes, of course, especially liver. People have this fear that you would get vitamin A toxicity. You actually get vitamin A toxicity from vitamin A supplements that are made from keratin and not retinol that's in liver. So no, you can eat liver every day. You just have to be careful with the cooked liver, because it raises the carbohydrate count pretty high. So yeah, and the rest of them is all good, except, you know, we still have to consider the amino acid count. You don't want to have protein that's too high for women. I have women eat between 2 to 3 ounces, 3.5 ounces. For men, I have them eat from 4, which is 100 grams or 113 grams actually in weight, to about 125 in protein, with your fats upwards towards 300. And with your vegetables, you want it to be, seriously, I used to say 9 cups a day, which is stupid. It's better to have more like 3 a day. That's all you need. Dr. Cruz, that pose though. Somebody saw my Instagram. You guys go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. You can see the picture that I posted today. And I posted it to remind everybody about my knee injury, and my butt was as flat as this. And I've got pictures. I'll do before and after so you guys can see. It was flat. My glutes dropped. I was wearing a 00 jeans, and obviously I posted before and after picture of when I was thin, when I was like 13 to 15 pounds less. I don't know why women want to get that low in body fat, because my body fat was a lot lower. So here you guys see I posted a before and after. Oops. Where is it? So if you guys go to my Instagram, you can see that I posted a before and after of before when I was really, really thin. Oops. And then when I started doing keto and I started filling out and still have abs. and a booty. Thank you, Seeking Truth in Christ. Are you a nutrition expert? Definitely need to lose 20 pounds and stay healthy. Yes, I am. I would never say that in the past because I didn't think I knew enough. I didn't think I had earned my my badge of knowledge, but now I have. It's the same. I used to be a pro skater, and I was offered a pro skateboard board. Don't forget to like up the stream, you guys. I forgot. I always forget. Like up the stream. You have to just collapse the chat and then hit the thumbs up and then hit the chat window, reopen the chat, because that's how people find me, unfortunately, in this YouTube algorithm. It's not a twerk picture. It's just the way I am. If you go on Instagram, people show their body all day long. I typically don't, but I want to show people how I've evolved at the age of 52, doing keto for 12 years, strict without a single cheat day, never once at all, what your body can do. You're not following my Instagram? Thank you, Jane. Ransom, I was here. Hi. Oh, do you ride horses? That's my new, well, I've been riding horses, but like not my own. And so when you don't ride your own horses, you get really rusty, no lessons and all that. I used to work at stables, but I'm digressing. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on tomatoes? So tomatoes are very toxic, especially the seeds and the skin. So if you're going to have them, take off the skin, take out the seeds, and just have a little bit with the meal. Not a lot. Especially if you have a thyroid problem, which is, oops, up there, you can't eat tomatoes because they're a nightshade. They're in the nightshade family. And if you want hypothyroidism, because it's going to block iodine, on the thyroid, you need a lot of stuff. Y'all need B12, so you need a strong gut wall to absorb B12. You need vitamin D. You need zinc. And you can't have zinc without copper, which is why you got to eat liver. You need iodine and selenium. You need vitamin A. These are things that you need on if you have a thyroid issue. So, the organ meats. Bart K, what's up? Okay, I gotta talk about Bart K real quick. So Bart, I saw you months ago, and I immediately I got the C Siren Janine and also vegan deterioration. I immediately subscribed to your channel. So Bart K, everybody go to Bart K's channel. He's very, very smart, well-educated research guy. So if you want to, I forget exactly what the different type of research you were doing. Been a minute. Sorry, Bart. But Bart K is he's a very, very smart guy, and he's interesting. He's an interesting character. I think you're British but live in New Zealand. Is that right? I think that's right. I'm not really sure. But for the whole vegan, dogma and foolery and frackery, it's really interesting to listen to him go do the deep dive into the science. And so go to Bart's channel. How much protein, fat, and fat does a very active basketball player have? So, oh, you're a woman. Okay. And you're 16 years old. Okay. You are scared to not pro though. Okay. Now, when it comes to 16-year-old woman, I don't know how tall you are, so Kathy, you might want to write that. But Kathy, who's very, very young, can probably clear out her glucose quite well and has good GLUT4 receptor development. Recommendations for MTHFR. Yes. Yeah. Make sure that your liver, your biliary system is functioning properly. And again, more context would help. Definitely. So how many ounces of organ meat? So it just depends on what organ meat. If you're having liver, it's going to be higher in carbohydrates. So you might want to probably just go with 2 ounces a day. If you're doing heart or if you're doing tongue, brain and tongue are fattier. So you can up your amount of grams in weight or ounces. So I just need to know more. Is it possible to keto adapt on vegetarianism? Yes, it is. But again, you have to be very careful because that means that your egg count goes up quite high. So I recommend more yolks. If you're going to be constantly eating eggs as your source of protein, you might develop an egg allergy due to cross-reactivity or a weak gut wall. If you already are having a histamine reaction to eggs, you kind of messed up. And then there's butter, so you've got two high histamine foods. It's like Keto College. What's like Keto College? Bart's channel or my channel? I guess my channel, because I'm more, I don't think Bart is carnivore or keto or anything like that. Let's see, egg whites are terrible. They can be terrible, especially when consumed too much. Wow, high product quality, this looks, okay, thank you. Oh, can we go to the, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here, we have the skeletal system. The only reason why I chose this photo, you guys, as a part of this live stream is to get to, look at that middle. My finger can't go over the freaking picture. Maybe if you put me tiny in the corner, no, I can't. That's okay. But the reason why I like this is to show you what a plumb line looks like. Okay? So explain before, you guys, you've got liver issues, gallbladder issues, biliary system issues.
Put your hand in front where you want to show.
Oh, finally. Thank you, Greek God. Thank you. Donna says your experience and expertise have totally changed my life. Forever grateful. It is a lifestyle, not a diet. Thank you, Donna. You're so sweet. I love Donna. Thank you so much. So the reason why I like this, look how straight that is. That is the position we never have. That is the reason why you guys have gallbladder issues, right? That is the reason why you have inflammatory markers are high and your CRP markers are high. You're putting too much stress on that skeletal system. So I'm going to go more into that later. But look at that. This is like, I keep telling you guys about the plumb line. See, you're not supposed to have an anterior tilt. That's an anterior. No, this is anterior. That's an anterior tilt. Or you guys are having posterior tilts, right? You're not supposed to have that. You're supposed to have a nice straight spine. Okay, see, Siren Jeannie says, I was eating a cup of homemade ice cream, no sugar, like 4 times a week for months, and now I can't fit into my jeans. So that's probably, I don't know what kind of ice cream it was. I don't know if you're doing organic or grass-fed, you know, because dairy is very estrogenic, but also probably, Janine, because of your blood sugar. And because you've mentioned you're still having problems getting your hair to fill out, sounds like a weak gut wall. Blood sugar might be a little unstable too, but we can talk about that later. Sciatic pain from skeletal muscular issues or diet, everything. What?
Don't forget we have a spine doctor in the chat.
Is that really a spine doctor?
Yes.
Really?
He said that he is your #1 fan.
Aw, that's sweet. Spine doctor. Let's talk about it.
When you put up the picture, he was like, okay, let me take it from here.
So you have something to add, the spine doctor? Okay, so especially with this sciatic pain from skeletal muscular issues. So it's from all three. If you guys have injury, if you're sitting and standing wrong, if you've got a weak muscular system, if you're not sleeping well, if you're sleeping in the wrong position, constant abuse from using the body in the wrong way, you guys can create sciatica. And standing too long and sitting too long and then eating the wrong foods just exacerbates the symptoms. Let me see here. It was 900 calories. Well, see, Siren Janine, I eat a block of butter. I can eat one in a meal. That's over 2,000 calories. It's not the calories. It is your body's ability to knowing what to do with those calories. So if your blood sugar is spiking, right, because you're eating a sandwich, which is less than 900 calories, and your blood sugar spikes really, really high, and your insulin is weak, right? The mechanism for insulin, your receptors aren't working. The communication between insulin and letting in insulin to the cell to be used as energy is compromised. Ah, Par, you don't have to super chat me. I appreciate it. Bart's a smart guy, you guys. Go to Bart and see Siren Janine's channel and definitely subscribe. You're going to get great content from both people. And if the spine doctor had a channel, I'd say to go to his channel as well. So alignment affects circulation, nerve flow, and the body's ability to detox, though, the lymph. This is great. The body's electrical sewer and plumbing, which is very true. So circulation, which is what I was explaining to before, you guys are sitting like this all the time. You guys have pronated shoulders, rounded shoulders. Your spine is not straight. You don't have a straight plumb line. Then you eat wrong, you breathe wrong, you sit wrong, you do everything wrong. And this creates an inflammatory reaction of that sciatic nerve. It was raw cream. So, see, Siren Janine, it might be spiking your blood sugar. You might be having a cross-reactivity reaction to the smaller amounts of whey or casein, most likely casein, in that cream, in that ice cream. Because I can eat blocks of butter and I don't gain any weight. So my body knows how to be in ketosis. So if you're not in ketosis and your blood sugar's running high and you're having carbs and fat in the blood, you will store. You're not going to store all that fat, but you will store a percentage of it. Do you know if organ meats and high fat will help with people who have suffered severe burns? Yeah, well, it's all about the nervous, the immune system is all about what vitamins you're getting in your body, right? So if you're eating foods devoid, or you're eating a lot of like vegetables, and you've got a lot of like phytic acid, a lot of things that are robbing your body of material. If your stomach acids are too low, if you have a leaky gut, you're not going to absorb minerals to be able to have your immune system do what it needs to do. You know, exercise in a particular way, not over exercise, because if you have an poor adrenal system and you have thyroid issues, adrenal insufficiency, or that's more Addison's, but if you are tired all the time, then, it depends on what kind of exercise. Let me see here. Not raw cream. Oh, wait, it was not raw cream. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I didn't see that. It was not raw cream. Well, I would probably just not eat the cream right now. And to be honest, Siren Janine, I think you should get a glucometer. I think everybody should have one, just to see what their blood sugar is looking like in general, if you eat carbs or if you don't. How much muscle meat and organ meat per day? You're 5'7", 150 pounds. You're a woman. How much muscle meat? Well, we don't eat muscle meat, we eat fatty meat. So muscle meat would be more of the lean meat, right? The bicep. So, but I guess you're mentioning muscle meat because we're still eating leaner cuts of meat because it's very hard to get. Well, you could eat pork belly or brain. But if you're eating beef and it tends to be on the leaner side, and if you're a woman, I wouldn't go over 80 grams in weight or 3.5 ounces in weight of beef, for example, per meal at 5'7". If you were 5'3" like I am, I would keep it down towards either 75 grams in weight or 3 ounces measured cooked. Yeah, what is it? Good idea about the It's really great because I have Siren Janine, I have people use a glucometer because it really shows if your blood sugar, you can test it, fasted in the morning before you get out of bed. And you could also test it a couple of hours after meals. And you can test it for allergies. You can test it before you eat something and every 30 minutes up to 2 hours and watch the algorithm of your blood sugar. Because if your body's freaking out and you have an inflammatory reaction, it tends to spike your blood sugar. And also workouts can show that too. Your blood sugar should drop post-workout, right? If it's spiking, there's something going on with gluconeogenesis in a way you don't want it to. You don't want to break down too many amino acids and out of rhythm. Can a low-carb, high-fat diet make insulin levels and C-peptides lower than normal range? Tested mine first time last week. Insulin was 2, C-peptide 0.4. I think my high carb diet before ruined my pancreas. And I'm not really sure. I think I would need to know what type of low carb, high fat diet that you're eating. And it's too general of a question. Context is everything. Do you think it's possible to restore normal pancreas function? Yeah, I do. If it's not literally, it depends on the level of damage, but yeah, I do. You know, it depends on what level of like, you know, is your pancreas going to be as normal as it used to? I don't know. Do you think it's, Steph, okay. Steph, you explain this information way better than my professors in school with MD, PhDs, and it's applied knowledge, not just theory. Exactly. And I think the doctor's spine, because I work out and I used to be a pro skateboarder where I have a lot of inflammation in my entire body. And now I'm horseback riding, and like I was horseback riding the day before yesterday, and I'm leasing this horse, which is a pretty tame horse. And the owner was going to have this woman ride this other horse, which I know is a little bit batshite crazy. And I was like, no, she's going to fall off that horse. I'll let her ride the horse I'm renting. And so I got on this other horse and boom, right? But see, I am so consciously aware of my posture and my spine with so much inflammation from being a skateboarder. And when you're a pro skateboarder on big ramps, you fall. Now I'm going to go and upload a video, some old videos of me skateboarding so you guys can actually see it. So you guys can see a little bit in the intro. I have a lot of inflammation in my entire skeletal system. It doesn't matter. Wrists, I've broken my wrists, fingers, ankle, knee, all those, plus a lot of pounding. Plus, because I've had 10 knee surgeries on my left knee, I used to lean a lot on my right hip all the time. So now this, at the age of 52, I started leaning. So I busted my knee when I was 26. So now it's irritated. And keto, the diet, how I exercise, how I sleep, all keeps my inflammatory markers low. Do you still use the Juve for inflammation? No, because the Juve gave me melasma. And for those who don't know what melasma is, it's hyperpigmentation of the skin. Now you can't really see it anymore because I've worked, you can see it's a little red here, of using all of these acid peels to get off, and it literally peels off the melasma. Then, let me show you guys how I keep the melasma away. One sec. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. There it is. Okay. So, to keep the melasma away, yes, I don't play. I ride my bike all over LA, and I use this because people always ask me, how are you keeping that melasma off? This is how I do it. I go horseback riding like this, okay? So, the Juve, oh, that light's bad. The Juve, which is infrared, which is great. It helps to raise nitric oxide levels. Cellular repair, great, but you cannot use that on your face. Now, I spoke at the Paleo FX it's a year and a half ago now, and there was a lot of companies that were promoting their infrared product. And Juve is a small company I met the whole family. They're lovely, they're amazing. They actually sent me a Juve box, really expensive, and I was putting it on my face every day, waiting for all the health benefits, and all of a sudden my skin got blotchy, and I was like, oh, I'll just put more of the infrared light on my face to get rid of the blotchiness. And then one day I was like, maybe this thing is giving me blotchy skin, and I immediately Googled it, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? So, at the Paleo FX, they had boxes that kept the face not exposed to the light. That is what you need to do if you ever get a Juve box, especially women. Do not put that on your face. Now, it doesn't make everybody's face react. It's typically women of Asian and Latin and white descent, typically, that have this hyperpigmentation happen. I skateboarded since I was 14, stopped a few years ago. Now I rock climb, and now I my knee is destroyed from, and actually the spine doctor, my hips are not straight because I lost complete flexion and extension of the left knee. I can't run, jump, lunge, or squat. And so everything's out of alignment, but because I work so hard on my fitness, I don't have impinging pain or I don't have sciatica. We used to use the infrared for patients with neuropathy, and after a while, they ended up with increased hypersensitivity of the nerve. Ooh. Bart, you in here? You hear that? That's interesting. Oh, you're a holistic esthetician. Sour milk masks. Interesting. Oh, for melasma. Thank you, Cesar and Janine. Look, my chat is on. People on the replay, listen to the chat. Watch the chat. Listen to it. You can. We can't hear anybody. Oh, please don't ride wacky horses, even if you are experienced, fit, athletic. It only takes one fall. Nah, I mean, look, Gin's like, it's not that wacky. I was in an arena. We weren't out on a trail. But like, no, we did go out. No, that's right. It wasn't, no, but no, when I got on the horse, it went, and I was like, bounce, 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 bounce. I was like, whoa, you know, but I corrected myself and it was no problem. And Gins, I took the horse out on a walk and it tends to want to bolt. So every time I tried to bolt, I just ran it in a circle. So we did like 20 circles. 20 circles, 20 circle. Oh, you want to go? 20, another circle. And then I got tired of it. And then it walked the rest of the way back. I want to get on horses that are not a sound, not crazy, but I don't want to be on dead bomb-proof horses, because if I ever get on a horse that's not bomb-proof, or if your bomb-proof horse becomes unbomb-proof, you won't know what to do. You have to learn how to ride all types of horses. I call it the Cleopatra mask. So you use sour cream, you use raw. Does it work? Gee, girl, I need to talk to you off all of this stuff. Sea moss gel. What was that for?
I think for the melasma.
For the melasma, spine doctor? Context? We use it for, okay, hypersensitivity of the nerves. So that you've made the nerves hypersensitive. Holy moly. That Ben, that sucks. You heard you, what? Ben? Huh? The yogurt masks. Kelly's asking. Oh, so we got sea moss gel for melasma, and we've got sour cream grass-fed raw for melasma. So you don't have to use a bunch of acid peels and make your cheeks red all the time. You'll DM me. Okay, thank you, Janine. I keep calling you C-Siren, Janine. Janine. Don't you have another live? Greek guy? Yeah. We're good?
Let's wrap it up a bit.
Okay. Yes, interesting. Oh, Bart says it's interesting. I agree. I haven't been to Bart, I haven't been to your page for a while. And even Janine's or anybody's, I've just kind of blocked everybody out. Not to block people out, but I was just trying to catch up on all the stuff I'm behind on and in. And so if I, am going to speak on something, let's say the thyroid, then I'm just like, thyroid. And that's like the only stuff I'll look at. Stephanie, why could be the reason I kept getting leg cramps at night 2-3 times? I've already upped my magnesium citrate to 700, and it's just, first of all, you don't up your magnesium citrate, you up your glycinate, and you need to have your sodium, potassium, and water balance. It still happens? Do you think potassium supplements? Don't eat potassium supplements. They can't even go at the level that you need because they're so toxic to the liver. So there's a couple reasons why people still have muscle cramps when they're taking supplementation. Often because of leaky gut, and 2, they're actually not trying to get a lot of their electrolytes from real food, which is more bioavailable. Deborah, she's just not here. It's okay. We got the Greek guy. He's here. We don't need moderating. I love Deborah, but for some reason she's probably busy. I I don't ask anybody who follows me to come on stream and help me. They just do when they get the notification. And she's here like 99% of the time. So that when she's not here, I'm like, oh, girlfriend, take a day off from these streams. Okay, can I get the same health benefits of keto from low carb, high fat? Now, Wanda, you can get a lot of great benefits. Nobody has to do keto. I started doing keto because my mom had a glioblastoma brain tumor, and I did keto with her. I saw the benefits, and I was like, people need to do this the right way so they don't injure or hurt themselves, which is the reason why Bart and Janine, I don't have no more numbers, even though I've been around way longer than Frank Tefano and all these other people. I've been along a lot longer. I just won't give the people what they're addicted to, right? So I don't do vegan analyzing. I don't talk about weight loss. I don't do any of that. I forget to monetize my videos. I just started working with a Greek guy. And so, you know, yeah, but the low carb, high fat thing it is possible to fare really well on low carb, high fat. You just got to find out what plant source foods your gut likes. And your adrenal, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, right? The hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis. When you find out in the gut what foods you can have and you want to stay away from anything that's inflammatory, then you have to time them out, because when you do low carb, high fat, you're still glucose dependent. So you have to fill those glycogen storages. You have to. So I don't know, Janine or Bart, I'm against the intermittent fasting because too many of my clients are ending up with thyroid issues because of it. They don't know enough about their own physiology to be able to. Now, if I did intermittent fast, if I had to eat one meal a day, I'm not going to lie, I'd probably start to injure myself. If I did intermittent fasting, I'd probably be fine on that, but I prefer to get in almost 300 grams of fat. I'm doing around 240 to 260. I eat a whole block of Kerrygold butter. And I'm very active, and I do not want to compromise the system. I'm already methylating doing keto for this many years. I'm as clean can be. So no fasting for Stephanie. I don't want to lose, I don't want to lose. If you go on my Instagram, you can see when I was way leaner and I just didn't look good. My skin wasn't as creamy. Okay. The booty was flat as a board and the boobage was none. And I think I actually got more sick often then. But now, yeah. So how strong can a woman become naturally with just food, training, and rest? Watch strong women in the competition deadlifting. I don't know. That's a question I can't answer, seeking truth in Christ. But I'm strong. Y'all know I'm strong and I'm in my 50s. I'm strong. I mean, I'm strong, like really, really strong. And that's on someone not eating carbs. So I haven't had any starches, no sweet fruit, none of that in 12 years, period. So, and the reason why I continue to be super ketotic is that I want to be the one person who didn't drink a glass of wine, did all this kind of stuff, or have caffeine, or eat cheese, or any of these things, or eat anything that's sweet or sweet fruit or carbs for just like one Christmas dinner, because I want to be able to put in my own freaking research what it's like, especially as a woman who's getting older, to be ketotic for so long, to prove that you can do keto. Because women can't do keto because it damages their endocrine system. Bullcrap. Okay, fasting is indicated on a case-by-case basis. You should not undertake fast longer than 72 hours. Once 4 nights without professional advice. Yeah, so Bart is correct on that. Some people should not fast, as said, case by case. Yes. So here's the thing, especially Bart, this is what I tell people. People say, but we fasted, we didn't eat all the time in nature. And I'm like, I know, but we don't live like we did in nature, and our guts are weak and our adrenals are fracked. And you guys, a lot of you guys have issues. You have stress, you're tired, you don't sleep well, you're inflamed. When the body's inflamed, you don't eat, you eat garbage, you eat too much, you eat too late at night, and everything's a very delicate system. So when you go out of nature, right? We're modern humans and we're doing stuff that's counterintuitive. We go to bed late, we have blue light in our eyes, and this affects our endocrine system. which is a part of the autonomic nervous system, which is, you know, your body does what it wants to do according to how you do treat it on the outside. And you're tired, right? You have your coffee, you're tired and exhausted, and you go out and hit train, and you know, you go pay your bills, and you're in your car for like 3 hours out of the day, and you're dealing with your bosses, and you're constantly putting out stress and energy, and you haven't eaten anything. Your glycogen is depleted. You're not in ketosis. Your body's dependent on glucose, but your glycogen is down. Where's your body going to get its energy from? Because you still have to work, right? Or you go to gym late at night. Where's your body going to get its energy from? Food is energy, and food is medicine. So one or both are going to be compromised from this fasting. Now, people who've got insulin resistance and they've got, you know, Crohn's disease and they fast, I get it, right? I get it. You notice that your insulin drops when you're fasting, but that's not a long-term solution. A long-term solution is to fix that gut wall, get your stress down, eat super clean, eat the right macros, the amount of macros, connect to circadian rhythm, and freaking sleep. That's how you deal with your insulin. When you first started the keto lifestyle, how did you avoid the urge to eat carbs, drink sweet drinks, and over extended time? Did you have cravings? Yes. So Ransom was here. I was craving sweets. I used to always have like juice. I was a juice idiot. That's what gave me freaking cavities. And I was drinking teas sweetened with sucrose. I was like, girl, stop. You have got to give this up. And then I became a stevia junkie. And then I ate stevia, and then I would tell other people to get rid of their coffee and cheese and nuts, and I'd be pounding the stevia. And I was like, I'm a hypocrite. So then I decided to quit stevia and go as clean as possible just to prove that I could do it. So the more like when you know better, you do better. So the more I learned about my own body's abilities, the more it was easy for me to change my habits, because I want to be strong. My body has been through the gamut. One day I'll go through all of my own health issues. I talk about the most obvious health issue, which was a broken knee, right? But everything, there's a lot of stuff that I've gone through. And I've worked my ass up, because I didn't work it off, honey. I worked that booty up. No, I'm kidding. I worked my health up. I'm like psycho-disciplined. Somebody said to me, like, what things in life do you feel like you're dragging on? And I'm like, nothing. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm 52. I've had years of dragging. I'm done. I need to get stuff done now. I'm done with dragging, and I'm ready to get going. So everything in my life, I feel solid right now at 52, including relationships with people, how I perceive myself, what I need to do to keep myself in balance. I fast regularly over 72 hours, but you have to understand kidney function and hydration. Of course, you have to understand your kidneys, your electrolyte system. But to be honest, the spine doctor, I'm against it. I'm 100% against it. And I know you're experimenting, but if I actually spoke to you, I'm really good at talking to people and seeing things that people don't see in themselves, especially experts, because experts, you know, they're smart and they sometimes don't see the obvious things. And then of course, normal people don't see the obvious things. But as you can see, keto was in the very beginning was meant to be a fast, right? Because you're giving your body a break from inflammatory foods. Or keto carnivore is a fast. So if you have enough stomach acid and your liver and your pancreas is functioning properly, and you eat slowly and you eat towards a circadian rhythm and you understand what macros your body does best, you don't need to fast. Because if you're going, the spine doctor, because you're a doctor, because we know you go, if you're going, what's going on with the glycogen? I would love to test your blood sugar. And then you'd be like, oh shoot, that's right. You know, people fast because they want to lose weight. People aren't fasting for autophagy. You can't even measure it. So that's why I'm just like, just don't, you guys, just make smart choices. You can get fit and lean and balance your insulin without having to go through any deprivation of anything. Let me see. Is it? On my Keto Course what? Oh, you're on my Keto Course Facebook group page? Is there a shopping list on the group? There's on my website, but it needs to be updated. I'll put up a list for you guys on the weekend. Steph, you're inspiring me to get my math homework done. Okay, cool. Did I miss something?
There was a nice question earlier that a lot of people don't know.
What?
The question, if I recall correctly, is it okay if we eat less fat once we are in ketosis? So we let our
I got you.
To eat the fat of the
No, that's not how it works. You guys don't understand. It's not like people have this idea that if I eat less fat, that I'm going to, either, drop weight. It's not about that, you guys. It's very much hormonal. You eat the fat like it's food and like medicine and gasoline. So if you you guys see, I'm probably sitting around 13 or 14% body fat, right? That's about 13 or 14% body fat. And that's with me eating almost 300 grams of fat a day. Like my calories are up towards 3,000 a day. So, and I have a busted knee, so I can't do any cardio at all. 0%, the spine doctor, none. So it's about trying to get my hormones in balance so I don't store. That means get my estrogen, progesterone, testosterone in balance, right? Because when you're estrogenic and the biliary system's not functioning properly, and estrogen loves to help contribute to the production of fat, then you can eat less fat or more fat. Your body fat's not going to go down like you want it to, especially with women. Did you talk about the heartburn and fat? Yes, I did. It typically means that you probably have hypochlorhydria. It also could mean, I don't know if you might have a sensitivity to a certain type of fat that you're eating, but it sounds more like low stomach acid, which then is creating the burn when you're eating fat. So you might want to address the stomach acid. Now you could do betaine HCl and start under the recommended dose to see if that helps with taking down that burn. Dr. Spine, I do it as a survival preparation. Blood sugar is perfect. What's perfect? Nobody's blood sugar is always perfect. I just did a life exam for an additional 5 million and I'm covering just training for the body. Okay. Somebody did that too before they were doing it for insurance. They had to do something. I just did a life exam for additional 5 million in coverage. Okay. And Deborah says, hey, Steph, my question is, what do you recommend is the best way to heal leaky gut? Okay, so I'm going way over what I thought. Okay, so the best way to heal leaky gut is you have to experiment with foods. Find out what foods you don't react well to, which is foods that make you tired, foods that make you bloated, foods that make you itchy, make your booty itchy, make you itchy, make your scalp itchy, give you skin issues, flushing, gassy, bloaty, stomach achy, and even towards the least. So some people don't know because they're so used to being bloated, they never check, or they're so used to not feeling well. And you would chart it down, see if your poop changes, if it floats, if it sinks. And if it's floating or if it's pale in color, that's typically leaky gut. Now you could rotate your foods, for those vegetarians, rotate foods. Rotation of foods is really good. So you might, let's say, take 2 meats. You eat them for 3-4 days. Then you rotate to another 2 meats. It's the same thing with vegetables if you're not doing carnivore. Rotation of food is very, very important because if you're having an inflammatory response to a particular food and you're always eating it, that gut wall won't seal. Those junctions won't seal in the small intestine. So avoid all of the foods that open it up. See if you're having a cross-reactivity to butter, cream, see if that's happening. And if you're not doing keto, then any other foods that might create cross-reactivity and keep the gut wall open. I would stay away from anything that's going to mess with your mucus lining, like coffee. Get rid of it. But the biggest way to heal the gut, beyond rotating and clean food and all this kind of stuff and non-inflammatory foods, is sleep. And that's what we don't get. And you can't get around it. It takes like a year to heal. That stuff, no supplement, no slippery elm, no glutamine is not going to heal the gut as much as sleep. Stephanie, I'm thinking about going lacto-vegetarian. Don't. Does that mean my only options are sour cream, heavy cream, sour? You can't eat, no Greek yogurt. That's corn-fed mostly anyway. No, don't go vegetarian seeking truth in Christ. Just don't. It's just a bad idea, because then you're going to miss out on the organ meat. You're going to miss out on things that are super nutrient dense, and you're going to have less nutrient dense foods. And if you have any sensitivity to eggs and butter, you're screwed. Is it true that aloe vera juice helps heal the gut? No, it doesn't. And some people can react. It's still a plant, you guys. Like, you have to be careful. Like, no, apple cider vinegar does not always help heal the body. You can have a histamine reaction to it. You can have a histamine to aloe. So it could potentially help, but there's enough carbohydrates in aloe vera juice that you can't be ketotic. Have you previously done any vids on how to prep or cook your liver and tongue? Not tongue, but liver. I did a live stream on it where I was like cooking it live. I need to put things in video, whatchamacallits. I got distracted from the Greek god. God. Did not eat eggs, butter. I tried eggs a few days ago. No, seeking truth. Oh, you can't eat butter a few days ago. Okay, so you would eat, so then what? So if you can't eat eggs or butter, how can you be this vegetarian? It's impossible. Can't. I watched a workout vid you did in 2016. Seemed a lot like Body by Science. What do you do that's different? Just stop short of failure? Oh, I don't train to failure. I don't need to. I don't like training to failure. As a pro skateboarder, my joints don't like when I train to failure. They go like, ow, 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 what are you doing? So I don't go under 9 reps, but I don't, typically when you train to failure, you're going to lower your weight. I mean, raise the weight and lower the reps, and I don't like to do that. So I go until I just get a burn, and then I stop. I do a lot of time under tension, but I don't do 15-second eccentric motion. I do 3-second eccentric or negative or lowering the weight or whatever you want to call it. Stephanie, what do you recommend for someone with high estrogen? That's a big question. It's what kind of food are you eating? What is your blood sugar? Get a blood glucose monitor. See if your blood sugar runs high, because that's going to make you become estrogenic if your blood sugar is too high. Take away anything that's xenoestrogens. Get some freaking sleep. Exercise, but exercise at the right time and the right intensity. You could use plant pectins and milk thistle to help with the liver. You have to poop, because if you can't poop out the estrogen, it recirculates back into the bloodstream, catering to your estrogen dominance. I watched the workout. Oh, I read that. I had a reaction. Butter just makes me congested. Yeah. So seeking truth in Christ, you have probably histamine intolerance, leaky gut, or maybe even SIBO. So you can't, going vegetarian would be just you should go carnivore, to be honest. Keto carnivore, like straight up. How do we convince people who say meat and fat will kill you that it's actually healthy? Point them towards my video and tell them I'm not a ghost. It's such a big answer. I mean, at this juncture, I do the best I can. For those who don't believe me, I don't care. If it's friends or family, just learn yourself as much as you can about the body, and realize that as hunter-gatherers, plants grow in season. So what are you going to do? Starve to death when things aren't growing? No, you have to eat meat, and fat has all the vitamins. It's got the fat-soluble vitamins in it. So plants have poison because they need a defense, so people like us don't go eat them. And tongue is not gross, Jaden. We all adults here. We are all adults. You can take tongue, grind it up like minced ground meat, put it with some beef. It'll be the best tasting hamburger you ever had. It's just it's the same protein from the same damn cow. I don't understand you people. We are too sterile in this society. You think you need to sign up for a consultation? I think it's a good idea. You guys know, you can see I know a lot. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a research doctor. I'm not like Bart Kane. I'm not like the spine doctor. But like the spine doctor says, I explain things better than his colleagues. It's just that I'm a normal person who freaking gives a frack. And when you give a frack, everything that you learn, you retain. And then when you work with people, you're able to go, oh, not only understand the science, but also learn how to communicate with people like on a human level. Exactly, Kelly. Tongue is delicious. People don't understand. We just get things so wrong. Like, oh, liver's gross. I heard that liver was gross for so many years, which I avoided it. And then I was like, you are stupid, woman. This is like the best nutrient-dense food on the planet. And I began to eat it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. This is fabulous. This is fabulous. And I realized I had tasted it before because my mom used to make chicken liver. I just forgot. Been long-term keto for 4 years, 95% of the time, 95% of the time, chop. 95% of the time. What does that mean? But the last year I've been 100%. Good. I hope it's clean keto. After about 3 months straight of being on 100% keto, I stopped feeling amazing and feel exhausted. Why? Because you're not adapted, Melinda. And your version of keto and what you're supposed to do probably aren't the same, which is like know what your existing health is, see if you've got leaky gut, see if you're responding to any foods. You're probably not eating enough fat, which is typically what happens. People say they do strict, no, she didn't say strict keto. She said you've been doing 100% keto. What's that? Are you sleeping? Are you getting enough fat in? Are you rotating your foods? You know, like you have to understand, are you working out late at night? You're not working out at all? Like, what's your posture like? Are you estrogen dominant? Do you have adrenal fatigue? Do you have adrenal issues? Because if you have adrenal issues or hypoglycemia and your fat's too low and your stress is too high, you're not going to adapt. And that's why. And you were probably still dependent on glucose when you weren't doing 100% keto, which was all the starches are at. How can I sign up for a one-on-one consultation? Pamela, you go to Stephanie Person. Can you just write it for them in the chat anyway? It's, you can see here, whoa, there is the website, but I'm going to have them write it anyway. Can you write it in caps too? To stephanieperson.com, and you can sign up for the course there as well. It's super cheap and I work my butt off. It's like I spend a whole day on this freaking course that I run. Tongue from any grass-fed animal or from cows only. I don't know. It's from any animal, but I'm assuming that a cow's tongue is quite big and that's where you're going to get, like, it's worth it from a cow. I don't know if we're going to get, like, you know, a lot of meat from a, are you putting up the website itself? Oh, that website is so old.
Okay.
But it's stephanieperson.com. He's actually showing what the website looks like, which is a good idea.
I don't show to them.
Oh, you don't? Oh, they don't see it. Oh, he's linking the website.
Just put the link. Click on the link, and you will go to the.
He says, "Click on the link, and it'll take you there." I thought they could see the screen of the website. He was pulling up the website. I could see it on my screen, but you guys can't see it. Okay, work out 6 times a week, 12% body fat. You're a woman. Very clean keto, just greens. Fat coconut oil is not. See. You're not adapted. You're eating useless fat. Coconut oil is not ketogenic at all. And olive oil, and that which oxidizes. And chicken, which is low quality nutritional meat. It's not high in meat. If your body fat is lower than mine, you're starving. I don't mean to be rude. I really don't. But if your body fat's lower than mine, you're not healthy. Women shouldn't get down to 12 and 11. And I mean, you could be at, I'm sitting around 13, 14%. So if you're a true 12, what? Hi, Steph. This is the Filipino who did one-on-one consultation with you. Oh. Did you make a comment before? Did he make a comment?
No.
I remember the Filipino guy. Do you have some comments about the consultation? Could I use olive oil as well as butter? Not for keto, really. I'm a male, by the way. Oh.
Okay.
Melinda, it must be your wife's account? Kate's account? Yeah, what's the deal with coconut oil? Had a few tablespoons the other day and had cramps, stomachache. It's because it's got a thing called caprylic acid in it. Your body's not used to breaking it down. You could have a coconut sensitivity as well. And people who start off with just a couple drops, you have to eat it with protein. Then after a while, your body learns how to break it down. But it's not, it's great. It's got lauric acid in it, which is great for the brain. It's great to antimicrobial, fungal, and bacterial. It's really great for the body, but it does not put you into ketosis. Animal fat does. We are not made out of coconuts. I mean, yeah. Period. Okay, we got to wrap it up. Okay, tanning bed's dangerous. I would say if they're not UVA and UVB that omit get D3, yeah. So you got to understand, when you use a tanning bed, you've got to find one that has UV, what is it? UVB? I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's got to have UVB in it so you protect your body. Why is coconut oil keto? Somebody said it was. People noticed higher ketones when people took ate coconut oil or MCT oil, but over time, the ketones go So it just stuck as a ketogenic fat. And because I've coached so many thousands of people, then I started seeing that people weren't adapting on a mostly coconut oil diet. Can MCT oil cause stomach upset? Yes, because of the caprylic acid. Weird science is an inherited condition, but I literally just found out that my G6PD deficient is keto cool for me. I don't know. I've never even heard of G6PD. Maybe Bart has. Gallbladder related cramps. Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Gallbladder, Gallbladder related cramps from coconut and MCT oil. Be careful consuming too much. Gallbladder related cramps? Are you sure? I don't think so, the spine doctor, because it's a medium chain triglyceride that bypasses the gallbladder. Are you sure? I don't think so. You spine doctor anyway. Okay. I don't think it's related to MCT oil or coconut oil because they're medium chain triglycerides. You don't need, it's long chain triglycerides where you need bile salt. Thoughts on myostatin deficiency, muscle cramps, bad diet, deficiency muscle mass despite a bad diet? Thoughts on the myostatin deficiency? I don't know what you mean. Like what's the complete point? Are probiotics and prebiotics important? You have to be very careful with probiotics because it's dependent, like everything for the gut, you stick for the gut, it depends on your bacteria. If you have an overgrowth in a particular bacteria, you keep adding in, like let's say all these cultures, a certain strain of bacteria, and you have an overgrowth of one and you add probiotic in, you can make I've seen somebody, I know of a guy who went straight to the emergency room taking one probiotic pill. So you just got to find out. That's why I have people do 4 strains, low culture count before going to higher culture count. Bioproduction increases. With coconut oil, are you sure? Are you 100% sure? Because it's a medium chain triglyceride. Does MCT oil help with weight loss? No, that's a lie. No, that's your hormone system. Not an oil or a fat, none of that. No. Is avocado oil okay? Yeah. What's the best oil then aside what? At the time, okay. I got my, okay, what's the best oil? Yeah, I'm at Liberate, which is a studio, and he got to go to his next job. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Seeking Truth in Christ, because I see you so often. Any tips on fixing eczema? Carnivore diet, keto carnivore. And I would have a consultation with me because I could help you stay ketotic while doing carnivore. Definitely. Thank you so much, Melinda, the guy. What's the best oil besides animal fats? There is no best oil besides animal fats. Maybe coconut oil for the brain, but not cooked with, and olive oil. You're welcome, Zaina. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Seeking Truth in Christ. Everybody else, Zaina. Thank you, Melissa, who's in the course, and Donna, and everyone. And thank you to Spine Doctor for contributing. Thank you, Bart K. and Cesar and Janine. God bless you too, Seeking Truth in Christ. All right, guys, time to go. And I didn't get triggered and I wasn't too sarcastic this time. And I'm out.